Hi, I'm David. Today we're asked to evaluate four expressions, and all these expressions have these exponents that help us exercise our kind of skills with exponents. So let's remember a couple of the rules when we have exponents that look like this, that are either fractions or have a negative value up there. So suppose I have something that looks like x raised to the a over b, where a and b are integers. What does this mean? This really means either the bth root of x to the a, where I raise x to the a power and then take its root with respect to b, or if you like, this is the bth root of x all raised to the a power. You kind of have options. You can go whichever route you want. The other rule that we need for these four is to know how to deal with negative exponents. If I have x to the negative a, where a is some real number, this is the same as 1 over that x to the a, or the reciprocal of x to the a. So I have to remember that's what I'm doing when I have these fractional exponents or these negative exponents. So let's apply that to these four cases right here. 25 to the 3/2 is our first one. All right, so I'm going to rewrite that, and I'm going to pick one of these two forms. I'm either going to take the square root first, or I'm going to raise to the power first. Well, if you look at 25, it's probably easier to take the square root before you cube it. If you cube 25, you get a really big number, which you could do with your calculator, or if you're quick, you could write it down on paper. But it's probably easier in your head to just take the square root first. So I'm going to rewrite this as the square root of 25 cubed. And there's kind of an implied 2 right there, but you don't write it when it's just the square root. Well, the square root of 25 is just 5, and the cubed is still there. And 5 cubed, 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. And that's your final answer. Some students kind of default to a calculator here, and you really don't need to, and it won't save you any time in the long run, so it's good to kind of get these ideas now. Let's practice again. 81 to the 1/2. Well, the 1 power, anything raised to the 1 is just itself, so I can kind of ignore that. But the half on the 2 on the denominator, I'm going to have to be concerned about that. So another way to rewrite this is the square root of 81. If you really wanted to, you could raise this to the 1 power, but that's not really necessary. You can just rewrite it as the square root of 81. 81 is a perfect square. Its square root is 9. So that one wasn't so bad. Okay, the next one, 3 to the negative 2. So we've got to know our negative rules for exponents. 3 to the negative 2 I could rewrite as 1 over 3 squared. Once I have it in that form, all I have to do is know what 3 squared is, which is 9. So this is 1 over 9. My last one kind of throws together both ideas, the fraction and the negative, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. This is 1 over 27 to the 1/3. If I want, I can take care of that negative first and just write it as a fraction. Now I've got to figure out what 27 to the 1/3 is. So 1 over, let's see, 27 to the 1/3, that's the cubed root of 27. If you like, raised to the first power, but I don't need to write that raised to the first power. Luckily, 27 is a perfect cube. The cubed root of 27 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So this is 1/3. And there you go. Thanks for watching.